stopping by the Massachusets Beer Review channel of YouTube. I am Thomas Metal75, and this is your Massachusets Beer Review. Today we got a classic from the Dogfish Head Brewery, and a classic to us all in the craft beer community. Lovers of IPAs must know this beer. It is the continuously hopped India Pale Ale, known as 60-minute IPA. Comes in at 6% alcohol by volume from the Dogfish Head Brewery in Milton, Delaware. They say on the website that this is a year-round release with an ABV of 6.0 and an international bitterness unit of 60. Original released date was February of 2003. Commercial description. The 60-minute IPA is continuously hopped more than 60 hop additions over a 60-minute boil. Getting the vibe where the name came from, as they say. 60-minute is brewed with a slew of great Northwest hops. Powerful but balanced East Coast IPA with a lot of citrusy hop character. It's the session beer for the hardcore enthusiasts. Okay, they recommend an IPA glass. I have a Dogfish Head Brewery glass. It says off-centered ales for off-centered people. Now I already poured this beer to have it with some dinner. I had it with steak, even though they recommend not steak on their website. I hear grilled foods and IPAs are pretty good with steak, so it had a pretty big head initially. It's pretty frothy, and it had a lot of lacing. It was probably 2 fingers. Now it's just down to that one fine rim. And I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but if I look at it in the light, it's a pretty dark golden color. It might look a little bit more orangey here, but it is that dark orangey color. Not much pop, pop, fizz, fizz, but it is pretty well carbonated. And let's get a nose on the beer. And it definitely has a citrusy, juicy hop quality and smell to it. You can definitely get an overriding, and not overriding, but I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a citrusy sugariness. But a sweetness. It's not sugary, it's sweet. Again, those citrus type fruits are of the grapefruit, and there actually is some kind of lemon in there too. Maybe some pineapple pineapple for sure. I'll be honest about that one. Definitely pineapple. And there's just a biscuity kind of a malty presence, but it's just pretty much citrusy forward. It might have a tiny bit of a hop oiliness and a dankness. But again, at 60 IBUs at 6%, it's not supposed to be a double IPA in taste and feel. So let's get a taste of 60-minute IPA on camera. Cheers, guys. Very, very crisp. Extremely refreshing and easygoing on the drinkability. And it does finish pretty clean. You are getting a spicy kind of a hop quality, and then you get the citrus, juicy grapefruit and that pineapple kind of a taste. There's definitely some kind of a grassy earthiness going on in the brew as well that I like. Not very grainy tasting, but sort of that grassy kind of a bitterness. It's fairly dry on the finish. It's not cottonmouth dry, but it is fairly on the dry side. And there is a bit of a pale caramel maltiness thing going on as well to the beer. I would say the mouthfeel is on the light side of medium, but it's definitely a medium tasting beer. It's not too heavy as far as an IPA in feel is concerned. And it is very, very crisp tasting. All those big carbonation bubbles are really scrubbing out the palate. But it just leaves you, before it dries, it leaves you with that kind of resinous, hoppy, oily, light hop oil resinous kind of a feel. And a little bit of that oily slickness. And some sweetness before it ends up drying out in the mouth. I would have to highly recommend 60-Minute IPA, as if you people don't know what 60-Minute IPA is watching this beer review channel of YouTube. Classic IPA that, unfortunately, for whatever reason in my lifetime, I've not had it enough times. I believe they are having, or at least I heard, which is the reason I picked up the 60-Minute IPA 6-pack, was my local beer store, or my local liquor store, I overheard one of the employees mentioning that they were having a half-off sale for all Dogfish beers, so I decided to pick this one up. Now, if you know anything about Dogfish Head, the Minute IPA series, they have a couple of different ones in their product line. They have the 60-Minute IPA, a 61-Minute IPA, which is made with Syrah grape must. They have a 75-Minute IPA, which I believe is brewed with, maple syrup. A 90-Minute IPA, which, if you can guess, it is 90 IBUs at 9% alcohol by volume. And they also have the big boy, a 120-minute IPA, which usually comes in only a singular bottle. And when it came out earlier this year at my store that I go to, it was about $13 for just a 12-ounce bottle. And I had it once in my life, and I remember thinking it was it was too boozy in taste and in feel for its own good, really. It's a 120-minute IPA at 120 IBUs, and it can range anywhere between 15 and 20 friggin' % alcohol by volume. And this year, it seems to be, according to Beer Advocate, seems to be 18% alcohol by volume, which was the same percentage of Dogfish Head's Worldwide Stout when I had it back in 2009 when I became 21. Didn't really enjoy that beer, but I bet you I would enjoy it more now. Wow, you gotta treat those kind of beers as nice sipping beers. Taking your time with those is the absolute must with them. But this one, I will give it a... Phone is ringing, apologize. Trying to get Christmas in order. I'm going to give this an A. This is phenomenal. I had it on tap on the 18th, December 18th, before The Force Awakens from Star Wars, and it tasted so damn good. It was light and easy drinking and refreshing out of the tap. It's got a little bit more of a heft in the bottle for whatever reason. I think that, but you want a really tasty, easygoing IPA. You want a little bit more alcohol by volume than a session IPA at 4 or 5%. 60-minute IPA is the way to go, and I have to assume, and they have a lot of different places. I can actually mention that to you now before we sign off. In the following states, this beer is available: Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Maryland, Maine. Okay, so the list goes on, basically. I actually will not list them all. But the list goes on. You can get this beer, you pick it up now, immediately. If you like a little bit of a hoppier beer with somewhat of a smooth and clean, dry finish. And look at that lacing, guys. So I'm going to stop about there. I think with Beer Advocate giving this beer a 92 from the bros and a 91 out of a little over 2,700 reviews at the moment, I think it's a little better than 92. I think you could give it that 94 or so rating. This has been Massachusetts Beer Reviews, reviewing the Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA brew. Until next time, keep tasting those great beers. Cheers. See you soon.